sorry about that, of 31 Indigenous people and the homeland of the Métis. We reaffirm our relationship with the Indigenous peoples of this territory, and this is an important part of our history, an important part of our future. We would like to thank you once again for joining us and giving us the opportunity to meet together for further pathways to Francophone services. Once again, we encourage you to reach out either using the chat tool or when we have our conversation circle to join us in our conversation. The reason we're here today is to have everyone available on one team and help with this conversation. So we would love to hear from you. And just as a gentle reminder, for interpretation, please click on the bottom of your Zoom screen. You'll see a button that says interpretation. So you click on that and select the language you would like to hear it in. Okay. And please ensure that while speakers are presented, that you stay muted. And if you run into any questions or concerns, please email me directly. My email is deborah.chevalier.secha.ca. I'll just put that in the chat box here. There we go. And for today, I would like to introduce our panelist. So today we have Suzanne Campagne, Directrice Générale from Conseil Culturel Francescois. This translates to Cultural Council, Francophone Cultural Council.
Francescois.
Francescois. Sorry, I tried. That's why we hired interpreters so that I don't make that mistake. And then we also have Julien Gaudet, the Directeur Général, General Director from Association Jeunesse Francescoise. So you know what? We'll just go to the presentation. They'll probably explain it a lot better than I, so I don't botch the translated version. Apologies. Afterwards, we have Frédéric Baudemont, General Director from Réseau Santé en Français de la Saskatchewan. So that's with health and French speaking. And then we have Eric Lefol. He's a Director General from Fédération des Jeunes Francescoises Vitalité 55+. So it's for seniors 55 and older. And afterwards, we'll get into our group discussions. So hopefully we had a chance to take a look at that. And without further ado, I will go ahead and give the floor to Suzanne Campagne. So please go ahead, Suzanne.
Hi, everyone. Can you see me? Yeah, okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity, Deborah and Sazia, for letting us be known. And also, I want to give out a shout out to all of my Francescois and Francophone colleagues who work so hard in the community. I am Suzanne Campagne of le Conseil Culturel Francescois, the Francescois Cultural Council. We have been in existence for about 40 years. And actually almost 45 in a few years. And we have a double mandate. The Conseil Culturel Francescois works in the Francescois Francophone communities, as well as having an extensive school programming. And we also are mandated to be a service to our artists who have projects and who try to be known throughout the country and even internationally. So I'm going to break it down into those three different sectors: community, artistic, and scholastic. So the French-speaking people in the province are called Francescois. Saskatchewan connection to the French language has existed for over 250 years. The CCF has been promoting and supporting Francophone and cultural aspects for nearly 50 years. And it's important to note that, you know, we are not necessarily an organization that promotes the French language. We do, but our essential existence is to promote arts and culture in French in Saskatchewan. Next, thank you, Shannon. Shannon is my assistant, and she'll be helping us. So let's start with the community. What we offer in terms of new arrivals, of people who are moving from one province to this province who speak French, or if they are immigrating from another country. We in our community have a funding program that is called PAMA, Programme d'aide au Programme l'Association membre, aide des membres associatifs, which basically we have about 40 participants. And these people can be can get funding for at least up to $4,000. Up to $4,000 for, oh, Deborah, I'm having a problem. I don't have, are you still hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly clear. How may I help?
Because I don't have my screen anymore. Yeah, so in our community, what is an advantage, what we can offer to these new organizations, these newly formed organizations, is funding for up to $4,000 for projects that they're committed to having in their communities. And in the last year, actually in the last 4 years, we've had about 25% more of our members who are newly organized groups, who are from different ethnocultural communities. So this is a program that is really an important program for us. Now I can't see, unfortunately I can't. Oh, here. Oh, okay. Then we've got the Festival Francophone. The Festival Francophone is basically our anchor organization where all communities get together at Pike Lake and celebrate for 3 days. Our communities are being together. It's also a showcase for the Anglophone community to see what's happening in our French community. It's one really of our anchor projects that's happening in our province. We organize that event. And we also have Le Réseau, which is a series of network presenters that will present in their own community professional performances, on stage performances, whether it be theater, music. We also have a visual arts program that's pretty developed. So for the communities, this is an important project as well for us, because it allows them to be professionally developed, how to present an event, how to create partnerships in their own communities, to have Francophone artists known from throughout the world, really, in these different communities. So those are just an example of 3 projects we do in our community. The next slide, please, Shannon. I'll get down to the school programming. We've been working in the schools for the last 30 years. We work with the first language stream, the school board, which is called les Écoles Fransaskoises, le Conseil des Écoles Fransaskoises. And we also work with many, at least 65 schools in the immersion programs. Again, we do school tours for all ages. These are artists that, before the pandemic, that were primarily from from either Acadian performers, Quebecois performers, Franco-Ontarian, and of course, all of our Western artists who also do great work. There's many French-speaking, French-singing artists that work out of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, and BC, and we like to promote those people as well. We have programs for all ages, from preschool to post-secondary. And it's an important aspect. We've also been very, very, we've really put a lot of emphasis on the innovation in the last 2 years. Of course, we've had to adapt to having a lot of virtual offers, artist conferences, artist workshops. We especially are proud of the new program that is called Fresque, which is a website featuring all activity and program offers in French for teachers, educators, and students from 6 prominent French-speaking organizations. We are not, we spearheaded Fresque, but there's at least 6 other organizations in our community that are very involved in putting their events and their offers in French on this website. So if you want to check out anything that is offered in French for schools, go to that website. It's quite fantastic. Next slide, Shannon. Then, of course, we have the artist program. Again, we have a funding program for artists seeking to develop their careers and their projects. And we've in the last 4 years funded at least 160 different programs and projects for artists. We help them develop their projects in the communities. We help them travel to outside communities to get to French-speaking audiences. We try to get them to markets that will really promote their French-speaking products, French products in the Saskatchewan. We've got a major event that's called Nouvelle Scène. This is a gala event for emerging artists offering mentorships and career building conferences and workshops in writing and composition, performance skills, and copyright publishing information. This event is also great because it's a competition where the winner moves on to a regional competition, and ultimately, if they win at the regional level, they can get to the International Festival of Granby, which is a great springboard for their careers. In fact, in the last, just recently, in the last 2 weeks, we had our Gala Nouvelle Scène, and it's this wonderful artist called Mana that won. She's just amazing. She's only been in Saskatchewan for about 3 years, but is an amazing talent. And so this is another opportunity for young, new immigrant people, artists to come and really show us their stuff. And it's a springboard on a national and international level. So this is another thing that's pretty important. For Tremplin Pro, these are various training and development workshops and conferences and mentoring sessions for emerging and professional artists. We really believe that mentoring is a key aspect for success for our artists. If they can mentor up with people from Quebec or from l'Acadie, it really gives them an opening to be able to present their shows and their workshops in other provinces. So, and we believe that Tremplin Pro is an opportunity for those artists who are not too knowledgeable on how the music industry or how the artistic industry works in Canada. It's a great opportunity for them to get to understand how things work. So that's basically a few of the many projects that we offer. you know, the organization is really about being the voice of Francescois in all matters of culture and artistic needs and aspirations. We see ourselves as sort of championing any efforts that are made to be able to have a community that welcomes Francophone activities or artists who want to just broaden their horizons and have a career, partly at least, in French. We are really about training, supporting, promoting the Francescois artists, and actually our Francescois artists like Sean Jobin and Pontex and Etienne Fletcher and Annette Campagne have been wonderful ambassadors for us. To really get to know people of Saskatchewan and how vibrant this community is in Saskatchewan. So that's pretty well my presentation. I don't know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. I think our question period is later on, right, Deborah?
Yes, however, if anyone here today have specific questions regarding your programming, they're more welcome to ask right now before we move forward to the next panelist. So yeah, does anyone have any questions for Suzanne and the CCF? Okay.
Thanks, Deborah, for the opportunity, and thank you to Sazia for the opportunity. I think this is a really important event, and I just want to congratulate you on the really successful participation as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So then now we'll move forward to our next presenter, Julien Gaudet de Association Jeunesse, désolé. And I believe you said you will be presenting in the English language. So, and oh, sorry, before we actually, Suzanne, what is your service area? One of the questions from one of our participants today.
It really is the area of arts and culture. You know, performances on arts performances, really trying to answer to the needs of our community, our Francescois communities, as well as our artists. So it really is in the arena of promoting arts and culture in French in Saskatchewan.
I think they're looking for the geographic area, Susan.
Oh, we are a provincial organization. We have an office in Regina and in Saskatoon. So we cater to 14 officially known Francescois communities, as well as I said, those schools in Saskatchewan.
I answered another question in the chat about membership for Fresque. My name is Shannon. I am the marketing manager for the CCF. So I work alongside Suzanne. So there is membership for the Fresque for organizations or individuals seeking to offer workshops through the program. However, the website is accessible to the general population. There are free workshops and stuff like that in there. So I know a lot of parents have children that might be in immersion programs or in the Francescois school board. And so they have access to see what sort of activities the children might be doing in schools or different crafts and stuff like that. They would have access to that as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shannon, for that initiative and to making that message as well on the chat box below. All right, so is there any questions for CCF for now before we move forward to our next panelist? Okay, so without further ado, I will welcome Julien Gaudet de Association Jeunesse Francescoise.
Hi, everyone. I'm the Executive Director of the Francophone Youth Association of Saskatchewan, Association Jeunesse Francoise. And I've got a colleague with me here, Lionel, who's going to share a PowerPoint. And I'm going to use our logo to kind of explain what we do for the community and kind of point the presentation in a direction that can see how we can service the new arrivals or the immigrant population here in Saskatchewan. So as you can see from this slide, we're a for youth by youth organization, Paris pour les jeunes, which really means that it's the kids that decide the direction of the organization. This has been going on for approximately 43 years. We have one of our founding board members, Suzanne, who's present with us today, but so she might have a few things to chime in as one of the inaugural members of the association. But basically, it means that we have 6 board members that are ages 12 to 18 and another 6 that are 18 to 25. Of those board members, every year they decide the direction of the organization. Our logo basically represents La Fleur de Lis, which is a lily that represents Saskatchewan and the French culture, that's blossoming into 3 different petals. Those petals are pride, leadership, and culture. In each one of those axes, we have events and I guess activities that we do. And I really thought that today, just to really showcase what it means to be for youth and by youth, I would find a youth that would represent, I guess, the path that he lived, I guess, coming into this province at a young age and coming into the country a little bit earlier before that. And I'll kind of let him take over this presentation a little bit, just to kind of showcase how our events maybe helped him become the person he is today, who is my communications and policy programmer at the organization. So I'll kind of hand it off to Lionel here, and he can take over and go from there.
All right, thank you, Julian. Once again, my name is Lionel Gaizi. I am the communication advisor. I'm in charge of everything that has to do with communication at the office. I have recently just graduated from the University of Ottawa in a double major, which one was political science and the other one communication. I did my university in Ottawa because I wanted to pursue my post-secondary education in French, and unfortunately I had to travel all the way to Ottawa. But it wasn't as much of a change for me, since I actually immigrated to Ottawa, meaning that was the first city, and Ontario was my first province that I arrived in Canada. And we moved to Saskatchewan in 2012 after my mom got a better job here as a nurse. So my actual initiation with AGF really was indirect. See, the thing is, our mother came to pick us up in Ottawa and told us that we have a place, we have lights, there's a fridge, but we have to start from ground zero. Now, we moved all of our life, due to social economic situation, mom being single parent, but moving out to Saskatchewan, if you tell that to a kid from Ottawa that has no idea about Saskatchewan, it can be very scary. So we moved to Saskatchewan on July 1st, 2012. And once we got into the house, everything was set up. I'm talking about beds, cutlery, you name it. And if you had seen the look on our faces, it was the first time that every single one of my siblings had our own bed. So right from the get-go, our mother told us, I have no idea who did it, but it's people from the community. So from that day, we knew that we had to give back the same way they had given to us without even knowing us. So one of the first organizations that we heard about was AGF. So we heard about this organization through our mother's friend that was working at the office at the time. And, she really told us that was a great way to kind of dive into the community. Now, who are we? So Francois Youth Association, or AGF, we're a nonprofit organization devoted to the Francophone youth across the province, ranging between the age of 12 to 25. Now, that nonprofit term is very important to us because we do not expect kids or parents to dig into their pockets. Times are already hard as there is, and most of the times when it comes to extracurricular activities or just, extra clubs for their kids, it can be a scary thing, especially when it comes from immigrants that are living on, with no means to really provide for their kids in terms of having fun most of the time. And I can talk from personal experience, seeing my mom having to juggle 3 to 4 jobs, us having to work as soon as we're big enough to hold stuff. So that nonprofit is very important to us because we try as much as we can. And I give a big shout out to Julien for that, is we try to find as much as funding out there to make sure that the kids, that's not a barrier for them. Now, our mission is to organizing unifying events for French-speaking youth of Saskatchewan between ages 12 to 25 years by promoting youth involvement in its Francophone community. Now, that last part of promoting youth, that's what's more important for us, because at the end of the day, we're talking about a generation of youth that are stepping up, becoming leaders in their community to make way for the next generation. And I am living proof of that. I came into the organization, I was about 15 years old. So I was just freshly out from Ontario. I come into Saskatchewan thinking I was going to be a farmer, which I'm not yet, but it helped develop certain skills and certain aspect of my personality that I needed to develop, not only to become a better leader in my community, but that will translate into my own personal life. So our vision entails of a future where youth blossoms in their language while affirming their Francois identity, and where committed youth navigates the complexity of a minority setting to ensure the long-term vitality of the Francois community. Now, being Francois, of course, means anybody that speaks French in Saskatchewan, but we wanted to take it up a notch a little bit because the Canadian culture is an agglomeration of so many different cultures. But at the end of the day, we all call it our country, Canada. Most of the issue with immigrants that coming into a new country, it's really, you can't replace the family that you left behind, but you're trying to create this new niche, this new community of people that you can trust. And then in my case, that person and that community that I could trust was the AGF. Most of the times I needed something, whether it be an ear, whether it be even a pencil. For some students at school that I went to school with, they didn't have to worry about having a pencil at school, having to worry about having a snack. The AGF took care of that for me. Most of the times I was afraid to even ask, but it reached out to me. And that's how I always looked at the AGF, as kind of like, that extended help when you needed to, even if you don't feel like you need it. So just to highlight a couple of our activities or events that we offer to the kids, so they have an opportunity to showcase who they are, where they come from, and kind of add in to the mixture of what we call Francois. We have the first one is called Jeune Engagé. And basically that one, what it means is it gives at the same time a place for the kids to have fun, the youth, but also we're giving them tools in terms of personal development, as well as giving them the platform to voice out their opinions, right, and their concerns. Most of the time, we have a bunch of adults talking about on behalf of the youth what they need, but sometimes what they forget is that they've been a youth before and times are changing. So it really gives them a chance to talk. And what we do at the team is that we try to put it into action and not just leave it in terms of ideas. One of the first events that I've been to is with Équipe SAS, and we participated at the French Canadian Games, and that's in partnership with the Fédération Jeunesse Canadienne Française. And what that event gave me as a youth was that it was the first time that I had the opportunity to travel. That's one. And go into areas that I have never been to in Canada. But most importantly, meet kids that speak French, that come from different communities, and we can exchange. What that gave to me is a sense of pride, and it made me want to dig in more into my culture, because yes, I was born in Rwanda, but at the same time, being that I came here when I was a young kid, about 3 years old, I'm Rwandese, Canadian, and everything in between. So I wanted to make sure that I could tap into my different cultures and not just stick myself into one. Another one is called Festival Fête Francoise. That's a gathering that happens in the summertime. And really what that is, you know, on top of, camping and all that, it gives us, the youth, a chance to talk amongst each other in different type of contexts. Most of the time, we only talk about French at school, and yes, it can be boring if you only talk about grammar. So with the AGF, what we're trying to do is extend that out of the classroom. Let them know that you can live in French without it being about grades and whatnot. Attache Tatuc, that's a Festival du Voyageur in Winnipeg. Again, that gives a glimpse to the youth of Saskatchewan, of another culture, and that is the one from Manitoba. Le Parlement Jeunesse Francois is one that I personally, it really talked to me, because of course I studied politics, but really what it does is that it creates a sense of self-esteem, that you can talk in front of a crowd and also really learn about the electoral system in Canada, which I believe when you talk about immigrants is very important, because usually political systems are based off ideologies. So if you can start by understanding our political system, it gives you an idea or a glimpse as to what really matters to Canadians across the country. Anim Takur, really what it is, it's a program which helps younger kids become basically leaders in their community, so they can organize activities at their school, in the community, because the reality of Saskatchewan is that we have communities right all across the province, but some of them are, a little bit further out. For example, La Ronge. There's one day, me and my colleague, we drove all the way up to La Ronge. We offered them some activities, and what that did was that it let them know that there is a voice out there for them, and that we're willing to go meet them where they are. But really what we're trying to do is create autosufficient youth, meaning that you shouldn't stop as a youth. You shouldn't stop as, if you have an idea, to stop it at the idea and think that, oh, you're not able to continue doing what you're doing because of funding, blah, 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 etc. What we're trying to eliminate is those barriers. So by us going there, what it did after is that it created youth leaders amongst those community. Whenever the school, they had a downtime, they were able to pick up the tools that we gave them to organize an activity for their friends. As well, just to keep up with the times and technology evolving, we also offer a robotic class. And really that is just to make sure that we tap into every aspect of a youth, whether it be arts, whether it be sports, whether it be academics. And what we're trying to do is be a platform for every youth out there, and really trying to be, an ear for them, because most of the time the youth, and especially when it comes with immigration, is we try to talk about them and not really listen to them. So that's what we try to do at the AGF. And again, if you have any question, we're on Instagram, our website, agf.ca, and we're also on Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lionel, for that wonderful presentation and sharing some of your experiences and stories. I think by sharing that, it gives us a bigger picture of what AGF is all about and how it supported you. So thank you so much for sharing with us today. That is a beautiful story. And while we have you here, I wanted to ask the participants if there's any other questions regarding this lovely presentation in AGF. Otherwise, we can, so we have, how do you promote your association and how do you make sure to reach out to connect with youth newcomers?
I guess I can kind of chime in on that one. Well, basically it's done through the schools is mostly our promotion. As we all know, promotion is probably the most underfunded part of all organizations. So we do our best to get out there. Most of our connections with newcomers is from word of mouth, to be honest. It's from family to family. And one of the beauties, I guess, of our association is that all our kids are newcomers because they get to come to us at age 12, and we don't really ask them where they're from or what they do. We're just excited that they have reached out to us and done something. So sometimes, even in Lionel's case was a little different because I knew he was. I had known the whole story from the beginning because I worked with his family friend, but a lot of times I have employees in my office that are immigrants and I don't even know because that's not part of the process of, I guess, of who they are, and we're just happy to have them. So to see how we reach out to them, I would say is trying to avoid, like Lionel said, eliminate barriers, work with partnerships. We should be doing a better job, and that's why we're here today, is really to build those partnerships with you. So if anybody wants to reach out with me or have any other ways to work, and yeah, somebody's pointing out my shirt. Lionel's wearing the French version and I'm wearing the English version, but because no one knows what a François is, we decided to make a shirt and basically say that it's anybody who identifies with French culture in Saskatchewan, who lives in Saskatchewan, because it's been a community debate if you can be part of a community or not, and we believe that if you want to be, you are. So basically that's it. But yeah, so thank you very much for your time today, and like please reach out to me. I'll put my cell phone and my email address here in the chat, and I'm sure we can find ways to work together.
Thank you so much, Julien, for that. That is wonderful. I know some of our SPOs are probably eager to reach out to you, knowing that there's the help that you offer to immigrants and that beautiful story. I think that really helped that initiative. So thank you so much for being here today. So I will move forward to our next panelist on our agenda. So we have Frédéric Baudemont from Réseau Santé en Français de la Saskatchewan. So I'll give the floor to you, Frédéric.
Bonjour à tous. D'abord, merci.
Hello, everyone, and thank you to be there. It's really happy that a lot of people that are interested to know the work we do. So briefly, I'll tell you a bit who we are, the French Health Network of Saskatchewan. So we have it here, Saskatchewan Network for Health Services in French. It's really a way to define who we are. Here, to show you how we are across the country. So in each province and territory in Canada, there is a French health network that does the same work as a, so it's to promote the access to French language services for health. So to promote, protect, and improve the access in French, it's our main mandate. And of course, accessibility to quality care. And we do collaboration with healthcare partners and emphasis also on the tailored solutions for our communities. For example, we have a program to accompany in health. So it's not necessarily available in the other provinces. So, and we have partnerships with the different partnership, French and English. And we have a lot of emphasis to develop an active offer, and we work with Saskatchewan Health Authority in how to identify the professionals in healthcare that speak French throughout the province and the system, the health system. So here on this slide to show you how we work together, I said health administrators. So it's mainly Saskatchewan Health Authority. We work also with academic institutions, post-secondaries, universities that have medical in the medical field, etc., to offer chances to the students, even if they learn in English, to do activities in French, to do so for example, to talk with a patient in French, and we had offered it. They went through the schools, but when they listen to learn in English all the time, it's hard for them. It's easy for them to lose their French. So we do activities to keep up their French. We work with healthcare professionals, with the government of Saskatchewan, and the Department of Health, of course, to encourage new policies, and with the communities, which is very essential. And I heard it from all my colleagues of that I heard today and yesterday. So, and all of you are partners, of course. Also, I want to talk to you more about services that could be helpful for newcomers. So here we have that helper service. So we have a directory of the health professionals in Saskatchewan that speak French, and you're gonna see later it's available on our website, and we help students, and we have resources on health promotion for French speaking people or Francophiles. And also we have a whole section for newcomers, elements mainly for newcomers. So we have workshops on mental health, and for the people that welcome the newcomers. And we have workshop on cultural adaptation and on French medical terminology. And also we do events twice a year that are open to all people, and for promotion of health. And of course, with our health crisis right now, it's very important. Also, our events, our initiatives, we do a lot of networking. So with health professionals and with students. So maybe the programs that touch more newcomers, it's the health accompagnateur service, and also our directory of health professionals speaking in French or speaking French. If you have the newcomers that want someone, health professional that speak French, please tell them about our link that I'll show later on. And you can do mental health first aid course. and it's someone that is trained that give those sessions in French and in English. We have different workshops to help Francophone newcomers uh, as for their need. So we did some for health in winter because many times they're not used to our winters at -40, and community events also related to health and wellness, and so promoting health again, and also till before the pandemic, we had booth that can do in any events, francophone or anglophone. Please contact us if you have events, and it will be we would be happy to come and talk about our services. So that health accompagnateur service, it's a service was created to help newcomers, to have them in mind. So it was created in 2016, and we trained, and we still train regularly volunteers to go and help people that have problems with English. So to go with them to for a healthcare visit, and these people will um meet up the client maybe 10 minutes before to ask, so what's your issue? And tell me why we're here. And when they're in the professional health professional office, and they do, of course, word for word, and then they go and verify the follow-up that they have to do for treatments, for other appointments, go to the drugstore. So we have about 40 volunteers, all trained, that do this. So so they know about the healthcare system, and also confidentiality, and to respect confidentiality of the clients. And now it's Regina, Prince Albert, Gravelbourg, Saskatoon. You see the toll-free line here. You will have the presentation. Alors, that's how it works here. So it's the client that calls us, and we have a coordinator, and she will uh, go and choose a volunteer that would be available to offer the service. So we've we've done dentist to the physician, or prenatal event with children, with adults. And I would say 80% of clients that want the client that come from newcomers area, but maybe 10 visits were for the dentist that needed a follow-up. So this is a service that's great for newcomers. So, and you see the information here. We have pamphlets here in English also. So here we have collaborated with other organization, and you'll hear Eric Fold of the Vitality 55. We're many organizations that have help a phone call away, and we thought that it would be good to put them all together, and that's what we did. We did a poster, and we also have small cards that are bilingual, and we have the French side on the other side of what we see here. But I want to emphasize here that service that we work on. So that's Tao Tele, that's ours. So this is a listening line in French, only in French, and so everyone can call from Saskatchewan, and they can talk about their problems, depression, etc., etc. So this is always available, and it's because partnership with the health, provincial health, that is financing this. So what we found out, the Francophone and Francophile in Saskatchewan, they really like uh, a line like this. That's from Ottawa region. So it's people from Ottawa, but for a little community minority, it's reassuring to talk to someone that we won't run into in the community. So it's reassuring that someone that's from elsewhere for confidentiality again. So Tautelet, it's available you here. So for since December 2020, and at least for the next 3 years, because there's an agreement with the healthcare authority. Alors, I won't go in the details, but so we do training for first mental health first aid, and you see a picture of one of those workshops. So it's a 2-day workshop, and it's here in French mainly, but there's also sessions in English. Also, we have workshops on nutrition regularly, on health in winter. And we have all kinds of things to give to newcomers for health and mitts, for coats. And here you see, I told you we had community events and we do health forums. And we have a theme from one year to the next. We had mental health, we had well-being in general, and we have those events regularly. And also, I told you about our website. We redid it 2 years ago to have a website to give information, very practical information for people from community, for the health professional and for the public. So you will see if you go on it. So I don't know if you see it on your screen. So we have a section for students for medical terms in French. And I talked to you about the directory of health professionals that speak French. And that's, you click on the right picture on the screen, and that is where to go find professionals by the city, by their specialty, and they put their name themselves, and then they said they could speak French. And in the middle, my health, it's French health resources, and there's a section to newcomers also, services for newcomers. But also there's a section on young ones, and for speech therapy, for OT, health of young ones, and health of seniors. So So I'm almost done there, but I think there's things to think about, and how can we work together to share our services and so our clients can benefit of our cooperation. So maybe I think we knew it a little bit. Maybe identify more the needs of immigrants and have contacts with us and see if we could help for French services, promote and distribute French health resources. And of course, we each have different mandates, but to gather our energy, collective energy and bilingual resources. So to start these ideas, I wanted to highlight these ones. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you. And like I said, we can we can share this presentation with everyone here. Thank you. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, and merci beaucoup, Frédéric. I'm just going to put the website down below so that people know where to go to. And it should be also available in English. So some of the information, so that if some of you who may only speak English, you have that resources available. So thank you so much, Frédéric, for that. I think it's really an excellent initiative that we have that professional resources in French only. I know, especially with language, it can be quite challenging. So it's really appreciated that that is available. So thank you so much. Does anyone have any specific questions for Frédéric and Réseau Santé before we move forward to our next panelist? No? Okay. So our next panelist, he was mentioned as well with Réseau Santé, is Eric Lefol, Director General of Fédération des Jeunes Francoises, 55 plus, Vitalité. And so I will go ahead and give the floor to you. Thank you so much.
Bonjour tout le monde, et puis merci Déborah d'organiser cette...
Hello everyone, and thank you Deborah for organizing this event where we get to initiate collaboration. It's really very interesting to see this, to have this opportunity. So Vitality 55 plus is, in one sense, we are a new player in the province's Francophone community, but we have a really old history. We are going to celebrate 40 years soon because we recently changed names. We were the Federation of Older Francoises, and now we are 55 plus, Vitality 55 plus. So this is a group that is for the older people, and it's also made by seniors. So our board of directors is all formed by seniors, and I'm part of the 55 plus group. We have a challenge, not necessarily only in Saskatchewan, but everywhere in Canada, as with regards to the image for seniors. People do not want to age. We are in a really interesting situation. We were talking about AGAF. You know, the youth are in a rush to grow up and be adults and do things like adults. But once we are of that age, it's the opposite. We don't want to be known as being a senior. So we have an audience, a public that is really shared in two. We have those who are doing a professional career. These are people who are between 55 and 75 years of age. These are people who are generally very active. They are doing a lot of physical activities, involved in clubs, organizations. And we also have people for who their health is starting to be an issue. They're isolating themselves at home. And so these are the people who are even older. We're talking maybe 75 or 80 or older. And so when we talk about seniors, we often think about that part of the population where people need more services. They have a lack of mobility. But when we talk about seniors, we're actually talking about 55 plus. So we do our very best to remobilize, to promote and encourage people who are 55 plus, but who are still very active people. So you'll see that a lot of the things that we are proposing are really targeting these two portions of our target group. So those who are active and those who need additional services. We work a little bit like, as other groups have already spoken, we work with a network. So we have a group of older people, seniors everywhere in Canada. In every province, there are groups. There's also a group, a national group that represents, if you will, all of these provincial groups. So there are so many interactions between the different groups. We go and see what works well in other provinces to try to bring that to our province. So we really share our knowledge. We also have a sharing of knowledge and energy work with provincial groups. Here in Saskatchewan, we have Saskatchewan Senior Mechanism. That is a group of elders from Saskatchewan who are Anglophone, and we discuss and meet regularly. We have a lot of discussions. Among these discussions, we share a vision, and at this point in time, the common vision that we share is maintaining our elders as long as possible at their home and in good health. This means that we don't want elders to need to leave their place and go to a nursing home. We want them to stay at their place. We want them to be able to enjoy their homes, which is the place that they love, for as long as possible. So what are the main issues that we face, issues faced by seniors? So there is a mobility loss. The loss of mobility when we age is something that becomes very difficult. It's something that we need to address. Another thing that we must note as well is that when people retire, some are able to plan for it very well, and others were not able to really plan the end of their life. And so they now have limited financial resources. And this is a period of our life where we need to pay for services. We need to pay others to do things for us. We need money for medication. So resources are something that is really a necessity. Another thing that becomes problematic is the maintenance of our environment, our home, changing a light bulb, repainting a ceiling, cleaning the gutters, mowing the lawn, raking the leaves. We can do that for a certain period of time, and then slowly we realize that it's becoming very difficult. So how can we find help for all of these things? A big issue as well for seniors is we may find ourselves alone without a companion, the companion who's spent their whole life with us. We are now alone. Our companion is no longer here. And alone is really being alone because we were used to doing activities with other people. So we not only lose our companion, but we also lose friends, because when we are in a certain age group, we start to lose our friends very quickly. And this really breaks the heart to see our social environment becoming smaller year after year. So this solitude is very heavy. It weighs very heavily on us, and we need to be able to find things to not worsen it. make the solitude worse. So, you know, people who go to nursing homes are not going to necessarily be alone. That's what people believe, but that's wrong. That's wrong, especially when you are Francophone and you are now in a nursing home where everybody speaks in English, and you are now having more, it's becoming more difficult for you to communicate in English when you get older. We prefer to speak our mother tongue. So another issue when we become older is transportation problems. And this is something that is really common and noted in urban areas. So we're going to talk about different things, but when we age in a city, it's different from aging in a rural environment. There are different issues pertaining to each of those, and these need to be considered. The 4 axes that we see in what we do, you can see them on the screen. So working on mobility issues, and here we're going to put physical activity clubs, online physical activity classes. We want to be able to eliminate the isolation that seniors feel. We'll have social activities online, cultural activities online. With regards to safety, we talk a lot about this for those who are alone, people who are alone at home. We have developed already a first phase of emergency calls for programs. So Frédéric spoke a little bit about that. These are calls. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. So I'll just leave it on that for now. So we've developed an emergency call program. The other thing is everything that is political, because we have a little problem here in Canada. We did not at all foresee that Canadians were going to age. I know it seems weird, but governments did not foresee that baby boomers would one day be 65 or 70 years old. So now we have this huge population that is now retiring, that are all elders or seniors, and we didn't plan for it. So the only thing that we have are retirement homes. And like we saw last month, the provincial government of Saskatchewan was very proud to welcome or to announce new beds in retirement homes, in long-term welcoming centers. So this is unfortunate that Canada as a whole, and Saskatchewan in particular, are not copying other countries throughout the world, because really in Canada, we are very, very behind with regards to actions toward seniors. If you look at Northern Europe, it is illegal to have homes with so retirement homes are illegal. You can't have elders gathered in the same place in a large number. In Australia, the government implemented services, envelopes of services. So when you retire, you have access to a first level of envelope services. So there may be people who might come and mow your lawn, clean your gutters. So when you age, you have the right to have more important envelopes of services that are going to include medical intervention at home and more assistance for daily living. This system, like the one we see in Australia, costs 20 times less than the system that we have in Saskatchewan, 20 times less expensive. Why do we not decide to change our approach? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done with regards to awareness on behalf of the politicians, with regards to what's being done elsewhere, and to implement that here at home. The different programs. So since we have been, so for the past 2 years, we've been kind of renewing our trademark and image and starting new programs. You might have seen different posters. For example, the Joy of Reading, it's a reading club. We also have yoga groups online and in person. We have Nordic walks. We have cultural activities that are going to start soon, which like Lâche ton fou, we see artists and artisans who are 55 plus in our community. We have intergenerational quizzes. These are collaborations with other groups. We have Connect Seniors. These are conferences on different subjects. And Sentinelle Entraînée, that is our emergency calls program. So where do we see this new program on the 4 axes that we mentioned earlier? So with regards to breaking isolation with our seniors, we have cultural and social activities. So what are these? So Connect Aînés, I just spoke about Connect Seniors. These are activities that occur online, and we touch every week on different subjects, and people are invited to participate in these workshops and these discussions and to interact with guests. We have intergenerational activities. These are activities that we organize among schools and elders and seniors in the community. We have as well Christmas letter programs. So when Christmas arrives, we collaborate with retirement homes to encourage people to write letters with their Christmas wishes and Happy New Year letters to our seniors. We also have programs to break the technological isolation. And that is something that we see for people who are a little bit older or even people who are in retirement homes. So we go and we help them in retirement homes. We help them access a computer. We help them access a big screen, tablets, different technological pieces that could help them to connect seniors to different activities. For all of these activities, we have partnerships with different community groups. We have partnerships with the University of Regina, with Édition La Nouvelle Plume, and the Historical Society. With regards to cultural activities, so also to break isolation, Lâche ton fou, it's something you saw, it's a poster you saw on the previous slide. We have had this program. It's a program where we're going to film little videos at people's places. So we're going to go see someone who's doing a sculpture or sewing or telling stories. And we film them, we videotape them, we ask them to talk about themselves a little bit. And then these videos, we group them, maybe a total of 4 videos, and we present them on one night. And so the first night or evening where we're going to present them is happening soon. We're going to have 3 evenings where we're going to showcase maybe 10 artists from our community. That is also a partnership with the Francois Association. There's also another one that's a group of seniors who are interested in theater, and we have a person from La Troupe des Jours, so it's a partnership with them, and so it's a theater troupe. It's the Mariage de Figaro. We present that in 3 acts. We had the first act right before the holidays. We're going to have the second act soon, and then the third one will happen before Christmas. So this is virtual, and we have a group of about 8 seniors who do the readings of this theater. Another activity that we tried that was quite interesting was in partnership with La Nouvelle Plume. It's a reading club. We had chosen 5 books of prairie artists, of writers, prairie writers, and these books were sent to those who were interested. They read the books, and then we had a discussion with the author. So people could share their experience reading the book with the author, what had touched them, what had led to them writing the book. This reading club, Joy of Reading, has actually been done in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia really liked what we did, and they themselves started a similar club, and we are talking about maybe doing something like this at the national level, hopefully next year. With regards to mobility, we have physical activities. These physical activity clubs, we've opened 4 of them for the time being. So in Saskatoon, Bellevue, Prince Albert, and Regina, there are groups now that do yoga, Nordic walks, activities in motion. So these are groups that did not exist before and that we're trying to develop and implement these physical activity clubs as much as possible throughout the province. I should also mention that we have the goal of implementing Olympiads 55 plus, so like kind of Olympic Games for seniors. And slowly, we are going to bring different activities. So maybe racquetball, skiing, different things like that, where we are going to encourage people to start teams in their community to then make intercommunal meetings for these activities. We also have online activities that are accessible to everyone at all time. For example, yoga. These are things that are working quite well. Our online physical activities were kind of stopped during the summer, but we're going to start up again in October. With regards to mobility, the problem that I mentioned earlier was the need for services to be able to stay at home. So, lawn maintenance, maintaining the exterior of the house. This is a new project that is going to happen in 2022, where we are going to try to create 2 groups, people who need services and people who can offer services. So people who need services, it could be people like me. Or people who can offer services. Maybe, I'm a little bit more active. I don't have kids at home anymore. So I can go help people mow their lawn, do some house cleaning, etc. These could be services provided by seniors to other seniors, or these could be services that could be offered by professionals, so a Francophone painter in the community who could go repaint a senior's home. So these are things that we are going to implement very, very soon. So watch out for that. We're going to be announcing it. With regards to safety, emergency calls, 6 months ago, we started creating automatized emergency calls with the Sentinel program. This is a person, let's say they're alone at home and they have maybe diabetes or mobility issues. Their kids or grandkids will be reassured if they received a call every day, knowing that everything is going well. So the first phase was automatized calls. So there's a center that every day at 10 a.m. there will call Monsieur Eric Le Foll, and this is the way the call goes. So the phone rings, I answer the phone, and then there's a voice that says, "Good morning, Mr. Le Foll. This is your security call. If everything is going well today, please press 1," and there. So I press 1, and so at that point in time, this automatic system is going to understand that all is going well. Thank you very much. We'll call you back. If I don't answer, or if I'm sick, or if I'm still in bed, then there's going to be an emergency process that's going to be launched, and community responders are going to say, "Oh, Mr. Le Foll did not answer the phone. I am going to myself call him. And if we are not able to join that person, we're going to call the neighbor to go see what's going on." So this is the first phase, and this phase is available in French and in English. This is a service, an emergency service that is really available to everybody. So it's a service that first and foremost is for Francophones, but it's also accessible to people, for those who speak English, if they prefer to have it in English. The other phase of these calls that we are implementing right now. So during the fall, we're going to have a second development of the service where it's personalized phone calls. We already have volunteers who are ready, and these people are going to call Ms. Frédéric Baudemont once a week, and they're going to ask her, well, how are you doing, Frédéric? Is everything okay this week? Did you see your kids, etc.? So this is something that is really going to be a social contact. So if you will, this call has two speeds. So we have these emergency calls that are automated, and then we have calls that are a little bit more social, where people can discuss a little bit further and share a little bit more about different things that have happened during the week. So these are the two program calls that we have implemented. With regard to our political action, as I said, we are collaborating with Saskatchewan Seniors Mechanism throughout the province, and we have determined that there's a priority, or the priority that we bring forth to the government, saying that we absolutely want to encourage and promote our seniors to stay at home for as long as possible and healthy. We're trying to communicate this message to different levels of the government to implement measures to increase the services that are offered, because people want to stay home, they want to be in an environment that they enjoy, and to go into a retirement home is really not an option. People do not want to do that. So the more we can keep people at home, the better it is. And I would say this is a provincial priority and also a national priority. The other project on which we are working on is age-friendly communities, where communities are friends with seniors. This is a project where we are going to go work with city councils to encourage them to consider seniors in all their actions. So for example, if we need to renew the libraries of the municipal library, so do these doors have access for those who have a lack of mobility? So every action, we're going to be involved in every action. So for example, we have to redo our sidewalks. And so do the sidewalks have a ramp for wheelchairs to be able to go up in order to be able to cross the street in a safe manner? I had an example that was quite troubling, actually, not last summer, but the summer before, where at the downtown Saskatoon, there was a person in a wheelchair, an electric wheelchair, was trying to go down the sidewalk. And once this person got off the sidewalk, the wheelchair got off, but the edge of the sidewalk was not well designed, and the chair fell forward. I mean, it's crazy. So, we see that maybe in downtown, we have 75% of sidewalks that have a ramp, but when you don't have this incline on the sidewalk, how do people get off? It's very, very dangerous. So there's so many things like that where we need to adapt, but we don't necessarily think when we are planning, when the city council is planning construction work, they don't always have a lens into thinking of all groups of the population. So this now is for us to be able to always think about every group in our population when we spend money to change infrastructure. Okay, so that covers pretty much the things that we are doing with Vitality 55 Plus. I don't want to say too much because we could talk about this forever. So here's my contact information. You can contact me at directionfaf@sasktel.net. My phone number is there. We also have a website that has also been in place for, I think, about a year. vitalité55sk.ca, vitalité55sk.ca. And on the website, you will see everything that I just talked about. There are different events that are at the schedule of all these events. The website is very well done. We also have an info letter that is public, like a newsletter that's published that people can ask to receive. We also have a Facebook page. So yes, go look for us. And again, seniors is 55 plus. So we can gather to go for a walk in the woods, go biking, do so many things. When we're 55 plus, we have time to do these activities that keep us in good health. And so don't be afraid to age. We have to collaborate and we have to help each other stay healthy. Thank you so much for your collaboration, and please do not hesitate to contact me.
Thank you so much, Eric. I do believe we have actually two questions. One is from Mohammed Yassin. So is it only for French speaking or any elderly person access your program?
Alors, on a effectivement, bon, la majeure partie
So most of our programs are in French. Conferences we have, physical activities with instructors that speak French. So yes, majority of our programs are in French, but the program where we have access to Anglophones also, it's for emergency calls.
Thank you so much, Eric. We also have another question. It's written in French, so I'm just going to switch to French on my interpretation and move back to English.
Si.
Avez-vous des initiatives axées sur les nouveaux arrivants plus âgés ou sont-ils actifs au sein de votre organisation?
Right now, in your organization,
bon.
yes, for newcomers, we have one actually in our board, and we try to reach them, but it's not easy because newcomers won't know of all the groups, of the activities, and it's a challenge actually for us to find them, but it's a lot of times those senior newcomers are isolated a lot. But for activities for them and what all that I mentioned here, it could help them to socialize, to meet people. And we really try to meet them, to reach them. We don't have a program specifically for them, but the seniors, newcomers have the same challenges and even more serious than our seniors from our regions. And of course, we'd like to help them integrate in society.
Thank you so much, Eric, for that. And I think I really appreciate that this program is available for seniors. I remember once when I was working downtown in Regina years ago, there was a woman in a wheelchair and it was -20. And she was on the sidewalk, but she got stuck in the snow at -20. And she said she was stuck there for 10 minutes. So then I actually went there with her consent. I asked, do you want me to help you get out? And I helped her get out. If I wasn't there, she probably would have been stuck outside at -20 for who knows how long. And that was very scary. I was really scared for this person. And I've seen it. And I also, even during COVID, we talk about isolation. So I think It's obviously not the same case for seniors, but I think more and more people are starting to realize what isolation means and can relate to that more so. So we really appreciate that this initiative has arrived, because I think, in my personal opinion, there's a lot of discrimination against seniors. And I think it's really amazing that this program is around and that we're connecting volunteers with the seniors, even just to talk and have the communication so they're less isolated. As that's just wonderful. So thank you so much for being here. And Julien just messaged
Merci,
me.
Deborah.
De rien, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. And even with our panelists today, and a lot of our panelists from yesterday are also on the table today. And I would ask the panelists if there's any information that you want me to forward to our members. I can do so ongoing. Just let me know. I have been actively sharing your resources to them, but it's great that you're here today, because now we have a face to put with my emails of what is this random program. So it's good to have that context and that story. So thank you once again. If it weren't for you today all being here, this would not have happened. So thank you once again, everyone. I do want to say, like to dive in maybe to our discussion circle. I'm debating whether or not maybe I should go around the table and ask everyone just to introduce their name, the organization you speak with, maybe just to ask everyone to turn on their camera so we can see your beautiful faces, and maybe just give an introduction to yourself. So would anyone like to go first and introduce yourself to our beautiful team?
I can go ahead and start it off. Deborah, my name is Bridget DeRose. I work at IRCC, and I am located in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So I work for the department, as well as I manage many of the agreements, the Welcoming Francophone Communities, in addition to the RIFs, les réseaux d'immigration francophone. So thank you for having me as an observer.
Thank you so much, Brigitte. Okay.
I can go next if you'd like. C'est Ronald Labrec, Executive Director of the Assemblée communautaire franciscoise, which is the umbrella organization for the Francophone community, looking at promoting the rights and aspirations of the Francophone community, and also to look at when we're looking at anything in regards to immigration, doing the international relations and promotion there. And then we have the subsidiaries, which is the SAIF and the RIF and the CFA, Communauté Francophone Accueillante. That's all kind of related. The RIF is a community based process, but just the ACF oversees it. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Guess I'll keep on going. I'm Danielle, and I work for Service d'accueil et d'inclusion francophone ESCA, which is SAIF, and we're a part of ACF. And we do a settlement inclusion and Swiss worker in schools for Regina and Saskatchewan.
I wonder if I should just
go.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So my name is Fernanda. I work for client services at the Global Gathering Place. My coworker now is also here. So our mission is to engage and support immigrants and refugees to integrate in Canadian society. We provide an array of settlement services personalized for each client, and we also deliver English classes as well as full calendar programs for adults, youth, and children and families. So we're located in Saskatchewan. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Nice to meet you too. And also we have Nick here. Now his video and mic is giving him some trouble today, but his name is Mick Cochran, and he works for Moose Jaw Multicultural Council in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, an elementary settlement worker in schools. Thank you so much, Nick, for joining us, and thank you so much, Fernanda, for that introduction. What other organizations do we have on the table today? Any takers?
I could go.
Okay.
Hi, so my name is Mohamed Yassin. I work for International Women of Saskatoon. My role here is bilingual liaison, capacity support for urban SPOs. So I basically go out and reach out to different organizations, different businesses to try to get more clients for our organization. And I also do the NARS assessment. So we provide a needs assessment for newcomers, figuring out what kind of resources can best help them, and basically direct them towards those organizations. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for speaking out and introducing yourself. Thank you.
I can go next. My name is Stephanie. I work with Carleton Trail College. It's one of the, I think there's 5 or 6 regional colleges in the province. I'm the English language training coordinator here. So we offer a variety of English classes, link classes, drop-ins, tutor programs. And I'm just sitting on behalf of our regional college group for informational purposes to see what kind of services there are available here. So I'm going to pass along this information that I received today to our group. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. This is Jerry, and I come from University of Regina Lincoln program. So same as Stephanie, I'm looking for the Francophone services in the Saskatchewan regions because there's many students are looking for to take the French classes. Thank you for having me. Thanks.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm sorry, Jade from Prairie Skies. I see you're trying to talk, but I don't think we can hear you, but you are unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Jade Kasim from Prairie Skies Integration Network. I'm the Administration and Communications Coordinator. Prairie Skies is a local immigration partnership initiative operating out of Moose Jaw and the region. We're a regional coalition designed to strengthen local capacity to attract newcomers and improve integration outcomes. So basically, we kind of like foster the community newcomer integration and make sure everything works well. Thanks for organizing this, Deborah.
Thank you so much. Any other volunteers that want to do a short introduction? Oh, I have Fabrice. So you had your...
Oui, bonjour. Hello, my name is Chantal Morin. I'm the program coordinator for the Welcoming Francophone Community for Gravelburg and Moose Jaw. And we aim to develop programs and activities that develop leadership and employment entrepreneurship activities and by and for the newcomers in the Gravelburg and Moose Jaw area.
Thank you. And Fabrice, I think you tried to go next.
Bonjour tout le monde, moi c'est Fabrice Modichal.
Hello, my name is Fabrice. I do projects and communication. So for the RIF, Saskatchewan, and RIF also is a consulting table for Francophones. Thank you to have invited me.
Thank you.
Maybe I could go next. Hi, my name is Marilyn Laro. I'm the one that's been asking many questions on the chat. I actually work for IRCC. I work in the policy and settlement settlement and integration policies branch, but I'm specifically working on the Francophone settlement team. And our mission is to consolidate what we call the Francophone integration pathway. And what is that we want to make sure that any newcomers get information on the existence of Francophone minority communities in Canada and the possibility to settle in French in Canada. We have so many services, settlement services in French and partnership, and it's our mission to consolidate that pathway so they know that this is possible from pre-arrival all the way to citizenship. And this is our mission. And I'm participating to this very interesting conference to get some intel on the ground from all those very interesting people that presented and the really important work they do. So thank you for today.
Thank you so much. And as we love questions, because that means you're showing some interest. So thank you so much for reaching out.
Je peux continuer?
Can I continue? So Mamadi Camara, a coordinator of Mathieu College for the program link, click in French, and I presented yesterday. I was talking about all our services and classes for newcomers, and mainly we have 3 French program, 1 program for immigrants, 1 for general public that they have to pay for, and 1 free program for a French program, but it's more for people that already have a certain level of French to improve their writings and their reading, their speaking. So all you need to be in Canada to be citizen or permanent resident, you have a Canadian status, and we have accredited courses. And our goal with all our courses is to help the newcomers, the immigrants, but they need, so they would come directly to us, take one of our programs, and learn a trade at the same time and English. So if you live in Saskatchewan, you either take English or English will take you. So Francophone or can have direct programs, and then it really helps with jobs, and 100% of they find 100% jobs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mamadi.
I can go next.
Okay.
Yeah, so my name is Nga, and I'm from Global Gathering Place. So we have another co-worker here, Fernanda, has introduced about our organization. Most of our services are in English, but we do have clients reaching us for services in French. And before, I just know that we have like college assigned material here, so I kind of refer them there. But like I feel, I find these opportunities really beneficial for me as like working in settlement agencies to learn about like a variety of resources for new immigrants to Canada in need of services in French. So for sure, I'm looking for receiving like some new newsletters or links or resources so we can refer us to our clients. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi.
Hi, Deborah. This is Udalai. Is it okay for me to start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Great, thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Udalai Sanvonghachuk, and I am work at the Regina Condor Society, and I oversee the Resettlement Assistance Program, also known as RAP, and various settlement programs as well, Swiss, the orientation services, welcoming for newcomers as well, and non-RCC funded programs. And thank you very much for organizing the event. It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much, Udalai. Any other brave soul that would like to introduce themselves to this panel?
I can go next.
All right, please go ahead.
My name is Rania. I work with the Regina Immigrant Women's Center. I mainly work with permanent residents and refugees, and this is a great day, and yesterday was also awesome. So I just want to thank everyone for the information. We see lots of clients who are interested maybe to study English, but their first language is French. So they also ask to access different programs like employment programs in French. So this is very helpful. Thank you so much again. And Deborah, thank you for organizing. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Rania.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we don't want to introduce them, if you want, we can go ahead and start with the panel discussions, unless there's anyone else interested in giving a shout out to everyone and introducing yourself.
I wouldn't mind speaking up, if you don't mind, Deborah.
Yeah, please.
My name is Lori, and I am with a program. It's a federal immigration program, an economic immigration program called the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot. So what we're doing is we're attracting, and the key is to retain these folks who are already in the community or from abroad, and we're satisfying the needs of employers that are local here in Moose Jaw, and for difficult to fill positions. So, and then in return, these folks are able to apply for their permanent residence through the program. So one of the key aspects of the program is the settlement aspect. And so I work with organizations like the Moose Jaw Multicultural Center Council, the Prairie Skies Integration Network, Open Door Society of Regina, places like that, to help the newcomers get settled and integrated into the community. So it's great. This has been a really great couple days here with you folks, and great to learn about all the options and opportunities there are for services for newcomers. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lori.
Can I just say a quick hello? Deborah?
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Vicky Sinclair. I'm the Executive Director of MANSA, which is the umbrella in Manitoba. So we're not a member of SACIA, but we work closely with the staff of SACIA and on lots of the joint PNT projects. So we're a member of IRIF here in Manitoba and have Francophone members, and want to support the Parquet Pool. So we're just here to learn how it's all happening in Saskatchewan. So pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Vicky.
Okay, hi, Deborah. My name is Netsai. I'm with IWS in Regina. I'm the assistant manager in settlement services, and it's quite been a very good 2 days, getting to know all these the resources that are available for the French-speaking clients. We normally refer all our clients that once, the French-speaking clients and those who want to be connected to the French community, we refer them to SAIF. So it's quite good to know that we're doing the right thing, and that there's lots for them to, to access around Saskatchewan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nitsai. Okay. Anyone else?
Hi, I could say a quick hello.
Okay.
For sure. Sorry, I don't have any video because I'm just at my work desktop computer, but my name is Stephanie Shylock, and I'm the manager in Saskatoon at the Newcomer Welcome Center. And I love connecting with everyone. I've appreciated putting some names to faces and know more about programs. And I'll just do a quick plug. being a regional gateway, I don't know if there's other gateways from other regions of Saskatchewan here, but we really want to always stay up to date with Saskatoon referrals. I know one of our contacts for the Francophone Swiss worker is out of date, and I was hoping to get a referral for that one so I can connect clients, but Newcomer Information Center, and our email is info@nixstoon.org, and that is where we always want to stay up to date with everyone. So I look forward to more discussions and making sure that the welcoming initiatives we have in Saskatoon are passed along to all of our Francophone friends. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
I'll go next, Deborah. Sorry. Stephanie Palmer, I'm the Executive Director at the Moose Jaw Multicultural Council. Sorry, admittedly, I am multitasking here, so that's why I'm late to the introductions. We're a settlement and integration agency in Moose Jaw, of course, and also serve our surrounding region. And thanks very much for putting this on. It's been a valuable 2 days so far, and we're glad to collect a bunch of information on resources that we can refer Francophone clients to around the province. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And again, to the panelists, so when we have SAISHA members, so when our SPOs, service provider organizations, and they don't have to be service provider organizations, but when our members become members of SAISHA, we actively provide resources, and this includes Francophone information. So if there's anything that you ever want me to pass on to them, just let me know. I also organize urban meetings with the sector in Saskatoon and Regina. We have a rural coordinator. Her name is John V, and she connects with the rural SPOs members in Saskatchewan as well. So we're actively trying to make sure we streamline communication and help with that flow of connection and networking. And if there's ever a situation where you want to say, hey, Deborah, we want to have a meeting with X, Y, and Z. We want to discuss education. We have Miriam, who's a Swiss coordinator at SAISHA. So I know Stephanie just mentioned that we may need to update contacts for the Francophone Swiss. So we have that. And then we have, I think Julien mentioned that he works closely with the schools as well. So right here, right now, we're able to maybe help that connection in the future. So thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. So if there's ever a need, just let me know, and I could help be the center and help navigate and move forward to that direction. And there anyone else that would like to introduce themselves before we get into the panel discussion?
Sure, I can go.
Okay.
My name is Emmanuel Edo. I'm a senior policy analyst here with the Ministry of Immigration and Career Training. I'm also the lead on the Francophone Immigration Working Group under the Ministers Immigration Forum. And thanks for letting me join and observe this in observer status.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Anyone else? I feel like I maybe should have made a fun game and had like a stick or I don't know, something to help. Okay, so in that case, we'll just dive right into our discussion questions. And I know sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating when we speak to a large group, but again, this is a safe space. We're all here to help and network with each other. So hopefully I have some brave souls willing to speak out today. So we talked a lot in the last 2 days about what is available. We also kind of discussed and reviewed some of those gaps and how we can come to a resolution to help those. Is there any particular gaps or challenges that you would like to convey either to the Anglophones or to the Francophones that in a way that we can come to a solution and look at ways, success stories essentially. So is there any gaps that you feel you would like to address today that we can resolve right now? That's a pretty heavy question. I just realized. Yes, Julien, you had your hand up.
Yeah, it's not a huge gap, but we have the same problem in the Francophone community as well. But I think there's a habit in the immigration world to speak in acronyms. And I can tell you that the youth or whatever that are checking out the Instagram post or the posters or whatever have no idea what a Swiss worker is, what they do. They know they exist once they've met the relationship, but I think as a whole, we could all learn from maybe writing everything down that they do more than the name of what they are, I guess, because a lot of times I find that even myself, I know the service should exist, but I have no idea which acronym I'm supposed to be looking up. And I always tell the kids, just figure out what F is, organizing it, find what you need, but I'm not sure how it is in the immigration world. But even today, I've been completely lost with all the acronyms. Like, I know you're all settlement somethings, but I'm not sure which one's which and who does what. So that would be my grain de sel, as they would say in French.
Honestly, Julien, I think everyone can agree to that as well. There's so many acronyms, so many organizations. I remember when I started working at Sasha, one of the first questions I was asked is, what is X, Y, and Z? Can you provide the full name? And now I actively do that. So no, that I think that's completely normal. We see that across the board. So thank you for bringing that up and sharing with us.
I have a comment, if that's okay, Deborah. Yeah, I agree with Jillian. It's my second meeting for Francophone, sort of like a grouping of Francophone services, and I'm learning a lot. So I admit that after these 2 days, I know more than I knew last time. So I'm grateful for that. And I also wanted to talk about some success stories. I think maybe a while back, I had, I think maybe 2 or 3 clients I referred to employment services in French. And I think one of the people, he's here and in the panel, Suriki, Mr. Suriki was very helpful. So I was, I picked up his name from last presentation. I contacted him and he referred me to the right person to talk to. So that was very helpful. And I look forward to attend more of these meetings where I meet people maybe for the second or third time. It's a little bit hard when it's in French, even with the translations, to remember all the names and the organizations' names. But I take notes, and I think it's working on the long run. So thank you for that. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to maybe more meetings and looking forward to meet more people from the Francophone side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anya. And just reviewing our chat box. So Danielle has some wonderful resources that she's sharing to the group regarding assist workers and information and their capacity, as well as contact information. So I would urge you maybe to take a quick look at that as well, as it may be of interest. So thank you so much, Danielle, for sharing that. No, that's amazing. Even in just 2 days of discussion, it can go a long way. I know it's wonderful to hear that Siriki and Rania were able to have that collaboration. I think yesterday as well, there was talk of maybe a job fair to be inclusive to Anglophone and Francophone. So that was wonderful to hear. And then we have the youth programs, and it's really wonderful to hear all these different perspectives and commonalities as well. There's often that misconception that we're different, but there's so much we have in common. And yes, Eric, I see you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
to follow up on this question, what's available, who should I get in touch with if I have such question and so on. Should we think about how we could have some kind of directory, what's available, who does what, and so on. So if I'm dealing with seniors, if I'm dealing with health, if I'm dealing with youth, what is the contact person? So would it be possible, I don't know, to have a web page, for example, with all the resources, and so anybody could have a quick look, for example, if we look at health, a few lines, what is doing the health network in French, this kind of thing. Do you think that's something that could help maybe to have that? Or?
Yes, I think that would be an excellent resource. I do want to mention on our SciShow website, our lovely coordinator, John V, made this beautiful toolkit. So for the time being, I will share that right now just on, everyone, sorry. So I'll just share that on the chat. So you can take a look at that. And this is more so of a resource for service providers, not necessarily. It was designed to aim for service providers directly, and it does have some of those acronyms there, and there's also a map. So you can check out our website. Other kind of resources we have for the time being, I know that in Regina, the RLIP developed a sector map. Let me see if I have it. Maybe I can share it right now. I know the LIP in Saskatoon also, it's good that you're mentioning this. They also have a sector map that they're in the process of updating on their website. Let me see if I can share it. No, I can't, but that's okay. I could probably share that maybe later. So sometime this afternoon today, I'll send out a survey for everyone to complete just to get your feedback. And along with that, I can send those resources to you. But that being said, we can definitely explore more ways to make that more meaningful and see how we can update it so it could best suit you. So yeah, no, I think that's an amazing idea. Thank you so much, Eric. And if anyone would like to reach out to Chantal Morin for Welcome Francophone Community for the area of Moose Jaw and Gravelbourg, she had left her, she has her email just right there in the chat room for sharing. Okay, so is there any other comments or questions since we have everyone on the board there today? Is there any particular need that you would like from the Francophone community or vice versa? No? No worries. And again, if there's something that comes up later and then you want to regroup, just let me know and I can definitely follow up with the providers for that information. Let me just pull up my questions here. So what kind of commitments are some of you going to make today to contribute to the success of Francophone integration pathways? So I know even yesterday, for example, there was the discussion of that maybe perhaps job fair, there was a connection with the children and youth. What other kind of connections do you foresee moving forward? We need our cup of coffee. It's too early in the morning still. No worries. Oh, I think I have Lionel from AGF, Association Jeunesse Francescoise. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so concerning our organization, I think the biggest thing for us that we need to adapt is there's an ever-growing number of youth, especially in the immersion sectors, that they are willing and are eager to learn French. So the biggest thing for us in terms of making a shift to be there for them is really kind of like widening our horizons. Most of the time when it comes to Francophone communities or even just the Francophone Association, it's important to talk about the culture, that is for sure. But what's also important is to remember that with time comes adjustments, and we shouldn't be closing ourselves out to immersion or even Anglophone that are just interested in a culture. So just moving forward for us is really opening the doors to the youth that aren't necessarily Francophone, either from their parents or whatnot, but just giving them the opportunity to reach out to us and not feel as though, you know, their accent or their level of French isn't up to par. So that's one thing for us. And with everything going on with the pandemic, we are committed to invest more in mental health. That is something we just had our board members meeting this past weekend, and what the youth really talked about is the impact on their mental health, right? We are very fortunate. All of us are done school and we don't have to go through going to school in a pandemic. So those are really the two sectors that we are looking to for the future, for sure. And also kind of just being a resource for the schools, teachers, and the youth in terms of braving this pandemic while still going at school and trying to create this new normal.
Thank you, Lionel, and thank you for sharing those initiatives with us today. In terms of mental health, I'm curious because I know this has been, since we just brought up the topic, it's been brought up numerous times. Who else is offering mental health support services at their organization? Because if a Francophone service is doing it, I wonder if there's opportunities to network to see if we can maybe streamline or increase accessibility to that information. What are your thoughts on that?
I can maybe speak for the CCF briefly. During the pandemic, we had initiatives to do training sessions and information sessions with community members and artists. And so Suzanne might have more details than me because this was shortly before I was hired, but I do know they had done sort of a mental health and wellness training session for artists because there was a lot of changes. There were a lot of changes. There was a lot of uncertainty because of the pandemic. So I do know that some of the training sessions that have been offered in the past by the CCF have touched on that because it is an important component, and art always helps you communicate your feelings and your emotions and everything. So I do know that we had started initiatives in terms of those training sessions, which we started to do virtually. And by doing that virtually, it opened up a lot of doors for people from across the province to participate and take in those sessions to work on those aspects for themselves.
Yeah, I can just add maybe to what Shannon has said. This is Suzanne from the Francois Cultural Council. We once a month we have, just this opportunity for artists to get together on a Zoom session and talk about, the pandemic and how it's impacted their creative sense, how it's impacted their sense of isolation. So indirectly, it is giving opportunities to people to just talk about where they're at and how we can respond. Our organization can respond if we can to better their situation. The whole creative aspect for artists is it was so important, and artists have definitely had a huge hit with this pandemic. And also we like to systematically also talk with our community people and our organizations who offer the services, and talk to them about where they're at. I was just recently talking to several network presenters in the communities, and they just don't know where to go with regards to the pandemic, and they don't want to be policing people who are vaccinated versus non-vaccinated. They know that it's going to have a huge impact in their small communities if some people are turned down with this passport idea. It's a huge issue for them, and we like to be there to just support them and give them guidance as to how they might manage that. So indirectly, we do also provide these opportunities for people to share where they're at and to deal with the mental health issues also that they're dealing with.
If I may, actually tomorrow night we are offering a workshop, a mental health workshop with Francine Prou-Kenzel, who is well known in the French community. And we had a conference with her last year, and this one will be in 2 parts, one tomorrow night and one in October. Also with David Baudemont, who is also well known in the community. So, and we like to touch on that because, as we all know, people come in from other countries, they leave their families, and we all have been affected by the COVID pandemic, and we've been affected by isolation, but it's even more so for them because their families aren't here, so we try to help them through that. So
perhaps it's Frederic from the RSFS, the Health Network. Following on what Chantal was saying, we have done with Francine Prou-Kenzel's the mental health first aid workshop. We are offering a new workshop in November, and we are planning to do some more of those workshops. So that's something you can always do, and if you want to contact us about this kind of information. During the pandemic, Francine and David Baudemont, actually is also my husband, so he is an art therapist, and he has done the workshop with Francine. And David has also worked in the past to do art therapy workshop with Open Door Society in English. So he has done it in English before. He could do it in French. So we can organize small workshop with Francine or David. That's a possibility. And also I want to insist about these helplines that I was talking about. This helpline that was accessible. Is accessible since last December. And so you can always receive that information, and you will see the 800 number in our presentation. It's a very, very good tool, and it's pretty well known. And I know that Francophone and Francescois people have used the line. Francophone and Francophile have already used the line. We know it has been used by our community.
Yes, Julien.
Yes, I'm a little ahead of the ball game here. I wish I would have had a couple of our programs launched before the meeting here, but we are going to be launching a new program called Bien dans sa peau, which means just feeling good about yourself. And it's going to be a sticker program that's going to go in a variety of establishments where you tap it with your phone and it brings up an NFC code where it brings up different resources tied to mental health. Also, basically a slogan, it's okay not to be okay. And basically different pictures and stuff like that, that depending where they are and in what environment they're in. And it's geographically tagged. So if there's resources in a certain community, they will be sent to that community. So we're going to be partnering up with the University of Ottawa and here in Saskatchewan, and wherever they tap the same sticker, it'll point them into resources based on their region. And for some reason, I can't share a picture in the chat, but if you see a little sticker hanging around that says "Tap me," you'll know what it's for.
Juliet, is that tool, like obviously it's a sticker, so it's will the resources be specifically geared towards youth, or will they be general resources that anyone at any age can use?
The general, right now, it's basically a link to a website that basically asks them how they're doing, and then they click if they need help. And then from there, it leads to a very simple page of resources. We are not a mental health service provider. We will never be that, but we just want to point kids in the right direction. And basically, like if in case of emergency, obviously call 911, or otherwise if they just want to chat, just call AGF and chat. But basically it's just kind of opening the door, and we're just trying this new technology to see if we can do geographically engineered resources based on the geographic placement of their phone. So it's just starting out, so we'll give it a whirl and we'll go from there.
Thank you so much. And
Deborah, may I say something?
Yes, please.
Yes. I just want to repeat what I said yesterday. Says as the employment and provider, you talk about collaboration between with the Anglophone partners. Personally, our organization, if it's possible, I would like to, by the end of the March, our fiscal year, if it's possible, to have some kind of job fair, because I know people need job. I'm willing to work with different partners if to organize something, and maybe in the year coming, if you can team together to organize, some job fair for the urban or rural area, because I know people live in the rural, they have some issue regarding attracting people move there. But I think together, if we can have some kind of strategy to present the advantage of living in small town, or that would be good. That's something we can work on. So I'm personally to be very practical. That's what I'm wanting to do with Anglophone partners.
Frederic, if I just want to follow up about the accompagnateur santé programs that I was mentioning during my presentation. So this volunteer who can go with you to your medical appointment, develop some little magnet promotion tools. So this part is written in English, this one is in French, and it's a list that you can give to the person who are wondering if they could have some support about translation in French or in the medical, for a medical appointment. So if any of you want to receive those, I would be happy to send them to anybody. And I will put my email address in the
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Frédéric, and for sharing all those lovely resources. And is there any comments or feedback from the Anglophone SPOs or participants here today that you would like to share? especially as we're sharing some of these resources. How useful do you find them? Oh, yes, we have Ferdinand, you have your hand raised.
Oui, merci Deborah de me donner la
Thank
parole.
you, Deborah, to let me speak here.
Comme domaine de collaboration
So
que
to
je voudrais partager
collaborate
ici,
that I would like to share here.
le réseau en immigration
So
francophone de la Saskatchewan
RIF of Saskatchewan,
est en train d'organiser une
we
étude
are
conjointe
organizing a
avec
study
Prairie Skies
with
et le
Prairie
partenariat
Skies
local en immigration.
and the local partnership in immigration.
Ici, j'ai vu Delis, j'ai vu
And I saw some people,
certaines personnes qui sont
a few
avec moi sur
people that
l'étude.
are with me in this study.
Comme JD. Ici,
Like
je
I
voudrais
said, here I would like
donner cette information que
to give
bientôt
this
nous
information that
lancerons
soon
avec l'équipe d'experts
with an
formés
expert
de
group
personnes venant de beaucoup d'universités, y
from
compris
a lot of people
l'université de
from
Regina.
universities, including University of Regina.
Bientôt, on va lancer donc des
Soon,
enquêtes
we will have
et je voudrais nous sensibiliser, nous tous, anglophones et
some
francophones,
questionnaires, and
pour
I
que
wanted to mention this
les participants puissent
so that participants
répondre
can
aux
answer
diverses questions.
at our different questions,
Et cela va
and
beaucoup
that would help us a lot and help the expert to help for better analysis with better data. And it's all about the needs in settlement for newcomers, francophones and anglophones. And of course, that will help us a study like that for settlement agents, but also for service providers indirectly, and also for people that decide, community deciders. But I wanted to share this information so people will know and will ask you to spread the survey and the questionnaire. Thank you.
Sorry, I muted myself. Thank you so much, Ferdinand, for sharing that and sharing those initiatives. I think that's a wonderful example of some of the collaborations we're doing with the community already that a lot of people may not be aware of. So thank you for sharing that information. All right. Well then, so far there's so much we talked about that there's so much to talk about that we don't know what to talk about sometimes. Is there any comments, anything that you want to share in terms of some of the commitments you're going to make today to contribute to the Francophone integration pathways? No. And from our participant side, is there anything that you've heard today that you will use moving forward, or anything in general? No. Okay. So I notice it's getting close to lunchtime and we're all a little bit quiet. So I assume that we have good to go for today. So I will go ahead and say thank you so much, everyone, once again to our panelists that are here today. This event would not be a success unless it was for you. So thank you so much for taking your time and commitment to being here and sharing this vital information to the team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to our wonderful interpreters for also being here today. Monica De Maria and Francine for providing the interpretation the last 2 days. You have been very wonderful and you've done such a fabulous job providing that support and that language accessibility. So thank you once again. Seisha is very pleased to have organized this meeting. We will be doing this conference, we'll be doing it annually. We'll see how things turn out next year after COVID, pre-COVID. We'll see how it is with COVID. But again, we're just happy to be here with you. I will be sending a survey in the next little bit, in the next hour or two. So stay tuned. Again, thank you so much, and I will adjourn this meeting. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, Deborah. Everybody have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
Thank you.
Bonne journée.
Merci.
Au revoir, tout le monde.
Au revoir. Bonne